We actually got it started pretty quickly. Okay, stream is live. Has anybody like posted that
I
we're
just did.
live? Okay, I should probably do that on the LOLA Twitter at some point. God, I can't even log into the LOLA Twitter from my computer. I have to do it from my phone. Well, okay.
Wait, that's wrong.
That's not my email, by the way. Randall at doublesnip.com.
I didn't put doublesniff.com.
I'm just messing. It's interesting. Ollie.
I asked
Ollie
if you had a Twitter, and you just
I don't
didn't
tweet.
answer me.
I don't have a tweet.
Okay, let me change it then. But Randall he doesn't tweet.
I don't tweet. I should, but I don't.
You're just gonna let the president have all the tweets?
Yep.
You're not gonna do
He
it?
can have that medium. It's working out really well for him.
Oh, Trump.
Wow, looking at myself is really satisfying on so many different levels.
There you go. How about that?
You don't tweet.
So we good. All right, here we
We
go.
good.
Starting the podcast in 5. What? I can't count. 5.
That's,
You got it.
you can make it.
Hey everybody, welcome to League of Legends Anonymous, episode 229?
9.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, 229. This week's episode is the fall of Double Snift. Last week's episode was the rise of Double Snift. It was a good run.
I fell down the stairs. It was horrible.
With me this week is Double Snift. Hey dude, what's up?
What up? I fell down the stairs. It
Yeah.
was rough.
Yeah, we balanced out that salt with some pepper. Hey Ollie, how you doing?
Good. Haven't been on in a while.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
been
good
a
to be
while.
back.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, man. Senior year's taking a lot of my time, man.
Yeah, the fan
And-
was asking where you were.
The one fan? Singular? Oh, man.
Solid
back, baby.
burn. That was
So-
a good one.
Yeah, in my life, here's something interesting that's happened since I haven't been on the podcast in a couple of weeks. So like, I was having a rough day. Like hell, I've had a rough like month, but this last day was particularly rough. And I kind of pulled one of these where you like rub your eyebrows with the fat of your palms, right? Like rub your eyes like this, right? And you're just like, ugh. And whenever I did that, I got like a pain, and I'm like, ow, that shit hurt. What
Is
was
that
it?
what happens when you get a pain?
Yeah.
Ow!
I was like, what the shit was that? And then I kind of go like this, I'm feeling around, and I have like an ingrown hair in my eyebrow, right? I was like,
What?
damn, that's sensitive. So I was like, well, I gotta pull that thing out. And I'm in my office. I'm not in my house, so I don't have a mirror or anything. I kind of just reach up there, and I kind of feel the one I think it is, and I just, yeah. And it hurts. I'm like, oh, shit, I think I got it. And I go to feel, and I'm like, nope, didn't get it. Pull. Ow. Nope, didn't get it. Pull, pull, pull. And then I realized, man, I've missed this thing a lot. I better go to the bathroom and just, use a mirror. So I go to the bathroom, and I have like a U-shaped divot now in my eyebrow where I have yanked out all of those hairs, right? And one hair sticking out in the middle that is clearly not healthy, right? So I go and I pull that one out. Well, now I have like a horseshoe out of my eyebrow, and I thought to myself, well, shit, how am I gonna fix that? Looks super weird. I was like, oh, I got it. I'll just use my like beard trimmer on my eyebrows, right? And just like trim them down a little bit, because then if the hair's not so long, you won't really notice the ones that are ripped out by hand so much. So I did that. And I picked the wrong guard, and I damn near shaved off all my eyebrows. So nobody's really said anything to me about it yet. Oh, and I have like a scab there where you can see it. It looks like I got into a fight or something, but yeah, it's like right there. That's where it was. But yeah, I barely have any eyebrows left. But nobody's said anything to me but my wife. who came home and goes, "You look dumb as hell. What happened to your eyebrows?" And whenever you go, I went a whole day before that happened, and I was like, "Oh, well, nobody's mentioned my eyebrows, so I guess it's cool. It just nobody noticed, so I guess we're all right."
They noticed.
Yeah,
They
no,
definitely noticed.
no, but nobody said anything to me all day. Even like people who would say something didn't say anything to me all day. And it's like maybe I'm in the clear, and it just looks like I have trimmed eyebrows or something or whatever.
There's nothing better than having your personal appearance critiqued by a guy in like the mentally unhealthy jumpsuit in the county lockup, back behind Chambers. Be like, hey man, your eyebrow looks fucked up. What's wrong with you?
You got that horseshoe eyebrow.
You got that. I need a new attorney. My attorney looks like shit.
My attorney, he doesn't have his shit together. Give me somebody who does. This guy probably doesn't even polish his shoes.
What I'm really curious about is like when this podcast episode airs, at what point during this epic tale of your eyebrow tragedy is the LOLA theme song music going to kick in? Like, when are we going to hear that, that telltale sense?
I think it's like 45 seconds.
Oh no, that was
When's it gonna kick in?
That was on you're talking about the sad piano thing that I used to play all the time. That was on Zencaster. We tossed Zencaster. We don't do that anymore.
Oh, I thought it was on the last one. Could be wrong.
Is it? What? No. The intro music is good. That's ours.
The intro music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the like. Like
Oh, thank you for clearing that up.
Dramatic piano. That's what it was called. It was dramatic piano, and I used to play that when Ernie would say
I do
something
remember
ridiculous.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
You've played it before during replays. It's just when y'all are utilizing the camera
I mean,
feature.
I wish that is the one feature of Zencaster I still wish I had is dramatic piano. But okay, so anyway, yeah, I'm here. I barely have eyebrows, and yeah, so is everybody else. So this week we're going to talk about what? I know not tilting was one of the things we were talking about, which is why
we were thinking about talking about
pre-game analytics.
Yeah,
tilt mitigation and pros and cons of tilt mitigation.
Off the podcast this week. He can provide no valuable information on that topic. And then,
fire your duo partner. That's apparently what we learned from last week.
Fire your duo partner out of a cannon into the sun. So, and then if we have some time left, we're going to talk about Riot's approach to balancing champions, if we have time left. So, okay. So let's fire it up. Where do you guys want to start? Anti-tilt, duos, or what are we doing?
I think Double, you want to talk about the pregame. You were passionate about that.
We should talk about the pregame, the pros and cons of using pregame. And that's when I say that, what I'm talking about is using sites like op.gg to check out your team or the other team. Recently, Mobalytics has come out with what I really like is their pregame analyzer, whatever it's called. And you can garner some information from that, and some people are really against it and think it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you can sort of paint yourself into a corner of thinking, well, there's no way this is going to happen, or this guy's going to feed, and the kind of preconceived notion can bleed into the game and become a prophecy that self-fulfills. I've been using it a lot more to dodge more effectively, and I think that's a good thing. And there's different ways that we can do that.
Let's talk about that. So, what triggers your choice on a dodge? Because it has literally never crossed my mind to use those pregame tools to determine whether or not you're going to actually dodge.
Oh, really? Oh,
Never
no,
crossed my mind.
That has saved me a lot of wins this season, I think. And that's the problem. There's no way to know. Once you've dodged, it's like, well, you might as well just believe you were going to lose that game. Whether it's rational or not, you'll never know. But I had a game yesterday where I checked the Mobalytics site. And the reason I like the Mobalytics site is because it doesn't give me too much information. OPGG gives you a lot. It's like they've lost 7 of the last 10 games. They've never played this champion. All this information that might give me too much. Mobalytics just is like hot streak, cold streak, extreme hot streak, extreme cold streak, and that's what I look for. If I see like an extreme cold streak or somebody that's lost 3 or 4 or 5 games in a row, I want to see what they're doing. Particularly if they're at a 0 LP. That's somebody who could be trolling. And I have identified a few games where I have no doubt that person was going to come in and try to be a douchebag. If they're playing Tryndamere support for the last 13 games and they haven't won a single one, I'm going to chuck 4 LP right out the window and take my chances in the next game. And I do think that's a smart move to protect yourself in some of these elos. You've got boosted players, you've got trolls, you've got all these people out there that are deriving joy. People like Zillion who derive joy from depriving the other people of happiness. That's really he's very similar to that. But so I do believe in checking that stuff and protecting your LP. I think dodging is a tool that you should be using. I heard it on another podcast where they were talking about how one guy's like, I generally dodge at least one game a day. And I was like, really? Okay. And it kind of got me thinking about, should I use this tool? Is this something that I'm not doing enough? And you never really know. I never dodge more than once in a 24-hour period because then you do start to lose more LP. But I've also I can't remember the last time I went to a promo where I wasn't 98 or 99 LP. Like Riot just, it is ingrained into their middle finger that they shove in your face. It doesn't matter. You could be getting 25 LP every game and be sitting at 70 LP, and your next win is like 19 LP. Here's 99 wins. So in the long run, because I've never had a situation where it cost me a promotion. It's always been within that margin, and I think it's a tool that people should be using. So I'm rambling now.
Okay, so I got you. So whenever you said this, I got to thinking. I was like, man, I'm just curious. Let's pull up me on Mobalytics, because I have had the worst Season 9 ever, right? So I'm going to go to my last game here. It's a ranked solo queue game. Let's go to the pre-game tab here and see what it says, because you should have probably dodged that game because we played it together.
Because if your duo partner is the one that looks like they're a troll, that's a different analysis.
Yeah. Okay, so this is really interesting. So I went in and I clicked the pregame, and on this game that you and I played together, the Riven, who Riven played all right, I guess, as if I recall. Her tag was fatigue. This player has been playing for more than 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
Then I had Jungle Warwick, who was double sniffed. Jungle main, Warwick main, cold streak. Yikes.
I was not on a fucking cold. Well, that's because of normal.
Has lost at least 3 games in a row, according to this.
Had I at that point?
Cleanup Boy was our mid laner. It is a support main, off roll. Okay. Versus a Jace main that was mid main, extra hot streak, warmed up. Yikes. Bot lane, fatigue, bot main. That's good. But fatigue, that's bad. Then me, Viger casual. Well, okay, that's going to be true of anything I play because I haven't played hardly any games this season. And then cold streak because I haven't won a game this season. Well, I've won 1. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at that, we should probably have just dodged that.
It's possible. I mean, that's the thing.
For the record, we did lose.
We did lose, and I played like shit both of those games. So, and I mean, that's the thing. These tools aren't crystal balls. They are,
You
they're an
intentionally
opportunity.
put in the Beavis chuckle there. So,
Of course.
yeah,
I'm going to beat y'all to the punch on that. You're not taking that joke from me. Fuck y'all. So it's just a way for me to see if there's a red flag of a feeder or a troll. And it takes some practice. And if you're going to look at this and say, oh my God, this guy's lost 3 games in a row, there's no way we're going to win. This is not the tool for you to use.
And
I think
get so stressed out you rip out your eyebrows for it.
Yeah, exactly. Or I mean, do what a real man would do and plunge your eyebrow into a superpowered bidet and pressure wash that thing right out.
Just,
I mean, that's
blast it out.
That's what a real man would have done.
No, a real man would get in there with his He-Man fingernails and just rip the hair out at its roots, because I don't need that hair if it's gonna turn on the rest of my body. That's trigger hair. It's gone.
It is. Well, every hair needs to be loved and protected when you're in the category that we are. You know, you can't leave any. You can't leave a single one.
So my wife actually, I casually mentioned after she told me my eyebrows look like shit that I need to get a hair transplant, because it came up on Alexa's doing me no favors right now. Right after we're talking, it's like, what's the news story? Cristiano Ronaldo starts a hair transplant clinic, and Costa's like, oh yeah, you should do that. God damn it! I got no eyebrows. You're kicking me while I'm down.
There's nothing more ironic than a man who probably pays thousands of dollars to have his entire body shaved, completely bare, starting a hair transplant clinic.
Oh, I would totally do that. Let's do that. Just
migrate it.
I don't care, man. Like, it's already moving down my back. You just move a couple of them back up. You know? Call it good.
All right, poor Tycho's sitting here just getting a glimpse of his future. Tycho, what do you think about using some of these tools or pregame analysis?
Nope. It's a no for me, dog. I've seen too many people who, in the first, 30 seconds of the lobby, even if when somebody picks a champion, because they've already ran their OPGG, they have a champion that's maybe 49% win rate, and they pick it, and it's like, oh, insta-lost, and just starts, spamming chat. Someone dodge, and no one's going to dodge because, okay, this is just talking out of his ass and nobody really cares. And then he proceeds to feed in the game. And I think, it's that mentality because he's so driven by statistics that he doesn't want to play the game to the best of his ability. And it just brings down everyone else on the team. And, I've heard it so many times, anybody, any game below Diamond is almost winnable in a lot of situations. I think for those the analytics that you're talking about, I think it's good for higher elo players. I think it's because they're higher skill players. So I think for them to use statistics, it's a lot better for them than using low elo players, because anybody can have off days, right? But with these higher elo players, they're going to be more consistent, right? Okay. So I think that's when the data will back it up compared to low elo.
I largely agree with what you're saying, because the data doesn't matter when the play is inconsistent. You know, that makes sense. So your low elo, silvers have a tendency to play really, really well one game and then play just ass awful the next, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a huge part of what bumps you up. Because I honestly feel like gold players are just more consistent silver players. I don't feel like there's anything that is mentally separating silver 2 and gold 4. You know what I mean? Except consistent. I feel like consistency is probably the thing that does separate those two things. So that makes sense to me in what you're saying. However, I will tell you this, I've literally gone into games, and I can't tell you how many times this has happened, but somebody's like, oh God, I'm up against a diamond player. Game over, guys. GG. Yeah. And it's dude, I'm playing something retarded in the bot lane. All you have to do is play against me legitimately, and you might actually win, because I'm playing Twisted Fate support, you know. And they'll just give me way too much presence. They concede the lane to me, and we'll get a ton of resources just because they're scared of whatever my rank is, right? Mm-hmm. And this season should be an excellent indicator as to why my rank is not accurate at all right now, because I'm fucking terrible. But that said, people that get into, you were saying, self-fulfilling prophecy, for me it's the opposite. And so the information doesn't hurt as much. If I go up against a high diamond or like a master tier player, right? Which I've done in solo
Mm-hmm.
queue. Like I've gone up against Bunny Fufu before, right? And when I was going up against Bunny Fufu, I was like, okay, this is it. I have to beat this motherfucker. Like I have to beat Bunny Fufu. It's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it like made me buckle under like anime moment where you're like, oh, I must be willing to die to defeat this opponent. All, I was like, this is what's gonna happen. I have to give my everything, and that's what I did. But a lot of people just shut down under that. So
Mm-hmm.
like, I think the third point of view is it depends on how you deal with and meet challenges. The other flip side of that coin is I think it can oftentimes lead people to horrifically underestimate their opponent when
Mm-hmm.
they come in low. Right? Like, oh, well, I'm just against a gold player. I'm just against a silver player. So I don't have to worry about my positioning. Then I get hooked and killed. You know, because a
Mm-hmm.
bronze player can still hook you. It doesn't matter. So, I
So
mean,
I think the other thing is like, I think if you're the type person to have kind of like rank anxiety, I don't think you should even look at OPGG. I think it'll just mess you up even more. That's the other thing. I think you have to have. I think your mental fortitude is the other thing when looking at stats like that. For me, I can look at. I never do it unless somebody says, "Oh, this like Rengar on the other team is like 2 million points or like 60% win rate." I'll go look at it. Like, oh, damn, that's pretty cool. That's it. And sometimes it'll in the back of my mind, I realize it's kind of messing with me, and I regret looking at that stuff. So that's why I just avoid it altogether because I feel if I get into this habit of trying to look at stats every game, it's going to make me more like anxious to try to make mistakes or like to try to make plays.
And that's
So
one of the reasons I like the Mobalytics one is because it doesn't. I think it gives you just a very basic, vague forecast. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna predict this game too much, but I need to know if it's going to be a 20-degree day in March because I'm not expecting that, and I want to if I see that sort of thing, I'm like, huh? Let's see. This is an anomaly. I like Mobalytics because it gives me an idea of where an anomaly might be to investigate that a little bit further.
well, I'll tell you
And I
this.
primar
I
I
will give you
primarily use it to
props.
dodge.
I will give you props about the dodging thing. I really honestly never considered using that information to dodge. And it seems so obvious now because to me, like everybody would use it like during the load screen. Oh, who is what? Click, click, click. You know,
mm-hmm.
because that's when I got bored, and then I was like, oh, let's look at OP.GG, and then I'm like, oh shit, and I
What
never
if
even
someone's being
saw that.
toxic? Do you dodge then?
Oh yeah, I dodged them
Or
for sure.
okay,
I did.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing: toxicity, and this is, I almost hate saying this because it kind of like proves a point. I like, okay, personal level. I honestly feel like Riot goes overboard with the whole toxicity thing, right? But pre-game, if someone is being toxic, you will lose that game. Unless someone on the other team is more toxic.
Mm-hmm.
The race to the bottom.
I mean, seriously, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so, like, that to me is you have a determiner. Like, toxicity is a really good indicator of whether someone's going to troll. And
Hmm.
you cannot win this game with a troll, right? And so whenever I said I think Riot goes way overboard with toxicity, what I meant is I think they go way overboard with like punishing in-game toxicity. Like they use words I don't like. They made me feel bad. They should be banned. And I'm like, we're not five. Like we don't need to have preschool rules as to what we can say to each other. You know, we're all either adults or old children, we can get thicker skin, right? Like
I mean, and if only there was a way. Riot really needs to implement an in-game feature where you can. I don't know. I'm trying to look for the right word. Where you can prevent someone from talking to you. You could like silence them in the chat. Like you should just click a button and like how your TV has a mute button. Like you should be able to do that to people.
Yeah.
I don't know why they haven't.
They put a no volume thing. You just have to volume down on the tab screen a bunch, and then they eventually.
And
it's very.
I
quiet.
completely agree with you on this. There have been so many times, and I think I think Ponderous in the same boat where it's like somebody who's intentionally feeding and intentionally trolling, and you call them out for it, and if you're not nice to them, you get disciplined for what you say instead of what you do. Whereas they have an easy way of preventing this. If you don't like what somebody's saying to you, mute them. And then they do not discipline people who are obviously and intentionally trying to ruin the game for everybody. And that is, I think it's a horrible focus on their part. And it's one of the worst things about a game. And I was thinking about this when we talked about Tilt and stuff. It's like I was watching some professional StarCraft. I was like, let's
before you could
go for it.
Whenever you said Ponderous was in the same boat, I'm like, yeah, with the Flamers. He's in that boat. That's why
I am a Flamer as well.
For 14 days at a time.
And I think, and that's the problem, is like Riot punishes me for being better at trolling and being better at shit talking, and that's what I really don't like. Is if you're going to do something, you should do it well and you should do it artfully. But one of the reasons toxicity is kind of so problematic, especially with an intentional feeder, is I was watching StarCraft and like I'm watching these pros play, and it's like, oh my god, it's this hype game, it's so good, and it takes 12-15 minutes to develop. And they're just about to start the battle, and somebody makes a mistake, and the guy quits. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, and I remembered that about StarCraft. It's like, if you want out of a StarCraft game, you're just out. Like, you just quit, and you're done. And the biggest problem is sort of being trapped that can be 30 or 45 minutes, especially if there's two of them and somebody won't forfeit. I don't think you should forfeit. I think when somebody's inting, like really inting, it's okay to want to get out. But you're trapped in them, and they have all this, power to keep you here, and nothing ever happens to them. And you call them a piece of shit or an asshole, I'm probably going to get disciplined from Riot for saying this on the podcast. It's like, oh, you called that guy an asshole from 2 weeks ago.
Hey, you could. Hey, Blake, wasn't you that got banned from Reddit for like a day, or the subreddit for a day for posting?
Yeah, I did. That happened.
Warranted. That was a flagrant violation.
Yeah, it was a
Reddit's
clear
policy.
rules violation. Whatever. Anyway, but like, yeah, and that's a topic in and of itself. But I mean, I feel like flaming and toxicity pre-game is a very good indicator if you're going to lose. Like, in fact, I don't think toxicity in-game is a good indicator of whether you're going to lose, because it's pretty normal. Like in terms of it happens all the fucking time, and somebody's going to be toxic on both teams. But if you start the game toxic, your mind state's shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the odds that you're going to lose is like astronomical. So I always dodge if somebody's being toxic in the pre-game lobby. I'll take my 3 LP now. Screw it. I don't even want to play that game.
Yep.
Or if like one of the laners says, if I don't get a gank level 2 or 3, I'm not coming with rotations, or I'm not helping you at all. I'm like, okay. So it seems like if they get first blood on him, he's gonna end. That's what it sounds like to me. So like, I'm not gonna deal with that.
We were playing a ranked game the other day, and I flash flayed, and the Jinx didn't move forward, so I had to wait on the hook, and I missed the hook because the person didn't dodge. Like, they should have dodged, right?
Oh, you were predicting the dodge.
Like, they're walking this way, and I charge up the hook, and I'm expecting him to like start going back this way. So the guy's like, wah, and then he just.
What was that again? What was he?
What, you want me to do the physical gesture?
You need a little pen when you do your coaching.
And then the guy just kept going that way. Did not stop, didn't stutter, just like a duck at the fair waiting for me to shoot him. And of course, you can't expect that. Like, we're in a plat to diamond level game, so dodge, because that's what people do, right? And it wasn't one of those like, I didn't dodge because you were expecting the dodge. What? It was just, I'm bad and I walked straight. you know, like it wasn't like
She was probably like accepting her fate, and she didn't bother.
it
And I was like,
wasn't
"Wait,
like
I'm a genius."
well, in the last 3 games, they threw rock, but they know that I know that they threw rock, so I will throw paper in order to counter them thinking that I will throw rock. Huh? Why do I always add Speed Racer onto the end of these things whenever I do? Anyway, but no, it wasn't like that. I just missed, and then the ADC kind of doofed the play after that. It didn't end up working, and then he tried to push it again, died. Then I died, and it was 2-0, just AFKs for the rest of the game.
Oh my god.
So we at level 2 AFK.
Oh my god.
And so, all right, well, we're going to lose that one. And I mean, there were tons of, hints that stuff like that was going to happen. But ADCs are a temperamental lot anyway, right? Because it's pretty self-focused in terms of, I picked this role because I think I can carry the game. And that takes an ego. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying it takes confidence and or an ego to fill that role. And then a lot of those egos are very fragile. Like a vampire ego. So whenever you show it first light, it just turns into like dust and glimmers and, whoosh. It's gone.
Still a better love story than Twilight.
That's sort of the glimmers. That was the reference to the glimmers. So, anywho, I don't know, man. Like, my thoughts on it are, it really depends on your mental, right? And
Oh, 100%. I
yeah,
agree.
League is one of those games, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and specifically we talked about StarCraft, where I said, it's weird to me because I can play StarCraft like over and over and over and over again. And I don't feel like I do on a bad beat on League. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, well, fucked up my build order. Didn't do this.
Zergling Rush. You didn't build your
Didn't get it off in
supply
time.
depot.
Yeah, like, didn't get it off in time. Didn't scout right. Didn't do this. Didn't do that. Okay, I lost. Next game, fine. Right? But I'm not, like, super pissed. And I think that's a lot of that is because it's like, if I made a mistake, I deal with my mistakes. I pay the price for that mistake. But if my teammate is a piece of shit, then I pay for their mistake in League. Yeah. And that's super easy to focus on when your team makes obvious mistakes. And, you don't beat yourself up over your own obvious mistakes. I think a lot of people do that. It's like rose-tinted goggles towards my play, but everybody else is a pile of shit. Actually, I know that happens because I've coached that. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I had a really good game, Vice Papa Smurf, and all my team sucks. Look at this game and coach me and tell me how I could have carried this. I'm like, right there, right there, right there.
Where are they from?
Huh?
Hey, Papa Smurf! What
from,
woodland critter
they're from
are you?
Gargamel's Castle, I think.
Good lord.
So,
You were
anyway.
reaching out to all sorts of dimensions of cartoon and real world alike.
Oh, man. So,
But,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Like I said, so I've dealt with this a lot, and I feel like, like, for somebody like, okay, I'm going to throw Astros on real hard right now.
He threw Danger Penguin under the bus last week, so this is fair game.
Okay, I didn't hear last week, so I don't know what was said. I'm just throwing him under the bus blind, so that's fine. So, like, Astro and I have duoed together, and, Astros gets into a negative headspace, and then he, like, gives up and wants out of the game. I mean, it's just like, I'm done. This is never going to work. I quit. And at one point, the game was still pretty winnable, and like our comp could win the way it
Mm-hmm.
was set up. Like we just had to play it right and not concede everything. And he was like, "Nope, it's over. It's done. We have like zero chance." I was like, "Dude, we could still win. Like, stop spamming surrender votes." Well, also, it's rude to spam surrender votes without asking your duo partner if they want to surrender before you do it. So let's go right there and start there. Like, you do not spam a surrender vote without first talking to your fucking duo partner. It's a dick move, Astros. Anyway. So
Yeah, it's
I'm like,
rules of order or whatever.
yeah. Parliamentary procedure on that is not good. So, I was like, dude, we can still win this. He's like, nah, it's over. It's over. You're just it's wasting time at this point. It's over. Well, of course, we have a real bad team fight after that, and then it is over, right? But there was a point at which we could have legitimately turned it around. It's just we missed, right? And he's like, see, should have surrendered like 10 minutes ago, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, not really, because 10 minutes ago we could have won. And honestly, the only way you can be sure you're going to lose is to surrender. I have seen teams that have no idea how to close out games. And that's like, that kills me, is like silver players will be like, Blake, I can't win these games because my stupid teammates don't know how to close out games. And that's true. They don't. They have no idea how to close out games. And then those same people will be like, we're behind at 10 minutes. Better surrender. And I'm like, you just said that they don't know how to close out games at your ELO. If they don't know how to close out games at your ELO, that is a universal problem.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. Like, wherever you are, I think there's the same ratio of percentage of mistakes that are going to be made. It's just which team makes them and when. You've got to realize that the other team is going to make mistakes. They just haven't made them yet. And you've got to let them lose. If they're significantly better than you, then they're not in the same ELO as you. So maybe they're great at early game. It's almost like there's a guy in our community who's really good at laning and has trouble with the macro.
So
you
which
just got
member of the podcast would you be remembering?
Yeah, tell us.
Can't remember his name. But Derp. And
Derp is actually I was thinking of like 2 or 3 different people that are on the podcast.
That's most recently who specifically reached out with that problem and knows that's an issue. But like, you've just got to let people make their mistakes, and if you forfeit, you take away their ability to screw up. Because most of these teams, especially the lower you get, the more opportunity you have to just let the other team lose the game for you.
Winning's about like abusing. It's not about like. It's about like abusing their mistakes.
Mm-hmm. It's not about like if you're.
It's not playing
silver,
perfect, just abusing their mistakes.
You're not
taking advantage of it.
One team's going to lose that game. Sometimes you just have to get out of the way and let them do it. Now it does require some recognition and some skill and some understanding, but it also takes a mindset of, hey, these guys are at the same level I am for a reason. Do you lose games when you're ahead sometimes? Like, give them an opportunity to do this. And the more positive you go, and it sucks because I hate it when you're, I remember when I was low silver and gold, listening to these people talk about, you should never forfeit and you never, but it's true. I mean, there's a reason that all these high level people say this shit, and it's not because they're paid by like the Society for the Betterment of League Positivity. They say it because it's true.
Hey, by the way, this week's episode is sponsored by the Society of League Positivity.
Now with 100% less ponderous season.
And 500% more smiles.
So, you've got to let them get out of the way. Like, one of the best things you can realize is that these people are in the same room or the same league as you, same level as you for a reason. They just haven't shown you that reason yet. And you can let them off the hook or not.
Well, I'll just say it this way. Do you think any of your opponents are going to play a perfect game from that point in the game on? Do you think that's going to happen? Because if you surrendered, that's exactly what happened. They get credited with playing a perfect game and ending it. The result is no different.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, I don't know, man. Here's the thing, and this is what kills me, is like, if you would play any game in a casino, almost any fucking game in the casino, people would be like, well, I was more likely to lose than I was going to win, so I gave up. I'm like, well, then you should never, ever, ever walk into a casino because you are more likely to lose than you are to win. Right? At any game.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what you play. Never do a slot machine. You're fucked. You know.
Hey, my cousin Vinny slot machine paid me a month ago 75 cents into $70.
Hey.
Oh my god.
I had a really good day of blackjack at the casino once, and it paid rent. And I didn't
That's
even
what's
go in
up.
with that
Oh,
much
shit.
money. I did not even go in with that much money. I went in with like $100. I'm like, this is all I'm gonna lose today. Don't really want to do it. And then I get aces, and I'm like, well, you gotta split those.
Yeah,
So I
split them. Double down.
Blackjack. It's like, okay,
Ooh.
let it ride. And it just kept getting like the nuts, and I'm like, it literally got to the point where in like 20 minutes I had made like $700 and something, and I'm like, I need to leave here before security comes over and kicks my ass.
For $700. Was it like a small casino?
It was like,
Was $700?
welcome to Buffalo Run Casino. You know, like it wasn't anything big. But no,
Hey man, I had to rent this Rain Man for $250.
was like,
gotta get it back to the home at 8.
well, I mean, shit, man. Like, granted, I'm not walking around with like a briefcase, but I sat down and won like every hand I played, and then
No, it feels good.
and then I'm like, I'm out. I got to stop. I got to leave like now before
Quit while you're ahead.
this goes
Mhm.
horribly wrong. You know. So, but anyway, this episode of the LOLA Podcast brought to you by the Buffalo Run Casino and the Society for Positive Gambling.
That's right.
So,
And going on to that line of like not forfeiting games is like, people talk about what feels great in this game, and a lot of people play for that outplay moment. You know what I mean? Where you're just you make somebody your bitch. But honestly, man, like from a gaming standpoint, when you are just hopelessly down and you come back from nothing to win a game, like you remember those games for days. Like
Sure.
that is just a great feeling.
I'll never forget mine.
And the one time it happened, one
every
time,
single
one game.
time. Let me go check my plaque on the wall from that time that it happened. And like,
I had the match
2013.
history engraved.
Yeah. But
So,
no, I'll
those-
tell you this. It feels almost as great as the Continental Breakfast at Buffalo Run Casino.
Oh my.
I mean, those are the games that we're talking about when we talk about, what is it, 30, and 40, I guess, those 40% of games that you can control.
Yeah.
Like
30, 40,
those,
30.
but what you don't realize is like over the course of an entire season, like those 10 games that you didn't forfeit and won, that can be a whole division. That's the difference between Gold 1 and Plat 4. That's the difference between Silver 1 and Gold.
Okay,
or
and let me-
even more than that.
Let me talk to you about this too, because this justification is the one I always hear, and it makes no sense, right? Like, I'm gonna quit this game now and save my mental. No, you're not.
Save
Your
my
mental's
mental.
already
No, you're
went boom boom. I hate to
She
tell you
gone.
this. You should not be playing the game if you have like a frustration surrender. That should be game over for you. You're done with ranked for a while. You know,
play
you're not
norms.
saving your mental. You're just queuing into another loss quicker. Yeah, so don't do that.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a good segue into our topic of tilt.
Yeah, okay, so tilt.
All right.
All right, so just to give
I'm seriously tilted.
just to
Excuse
give a brief introduction to the concept of everybody should know what this means, but fuck if you don't, here you are.
Where does it come from, Blake?
All right,
Speaking of
so-
casinos,
The concept of tilt. Oh, okay, nice. The definition of tilt brought to you by Buffalo Run Casino.
Yeah, I knew this segment was totally going to get sponsored by a casino.
So, anyway, the concept of tilt is this idea that when you're playing with like emotional baggage, that you will operate in a subpar way, right? And I think the term actually derives from pinball, where people get frustrated and tilt the machine to try to make the pinball go in a different direction, which causes a tilt error, right? But in a gaming sense, I'm not, the idea is basically like your mental state is causing you poor performance, right? It's like emotionally you are not available to play the game, which results in a subpar state of mind. And then you overcompensate to try to make something happen, which then inevitably results in failure, which then feeds the cycle of you doing the same thing only harder. And then you kind of eventually devolve into a I can't win mentality. And then you finally hit rock bottom and you're season 9 Wise Papa Smurf.
Jabroni.
Yeah. So I mean that's
You
kind
hate
of
to see it.
that's kind of the gist of it. Is basically you're in a negative state of mind. And
Yeah, I first heard about it in Texas Hold'em poker. Very common to make the correct play mathematically.
You're talking about a bad beat. You take a
Bad beat, tilt. Playing on tilt is I heard that all the time when I used to play poker a lot. You make the mathematically correct play and somebody catches some bullshit hand and takes all your money, and then you buy back in, and then you lose it all because you've abandoned logic and reason and your mathematical sensibilities, and you're playing on emotion.
You know what my buddy would do back in high school whenever he was on a tilt? We would like play like just these games, and when he was down to his last hand, he would just do Hail Marys. Just wouldn't look at his cards, just put it on the table, all in, and he would come back and put himself in the game. Wouldn't give a shit whatever he had, and he would just win the side pots, and he starts winning the big pot.
And see,
So,
that
I mean-
is a pseudo strategy that won't pan out if your friends actually know what you're doing and have some sack. But that is playing on tilt. Like that's the definition of playing on tilt: is you engage in overly risky behavior to try to make something happen, and then it totally doesn't work. But yeah. So that being said, how do you avoid tilt? At what point do you just throw in the towel to tilt? How can you recover from a tilting experience? These are all things that I think we need to put on a clinic on, right? Talk about mitigation, right? So, this is stupid, but I'm going to say it anyway because I've actually tried it and it's worked. I've put on like happy music in the background while I play. And whenever you're listening to like, what's that fucking song?
Spice Girls.
Spice Girls.
Yeah, what is
that
it?
was the one. That was it. How did you know? You've been watching the stream. Yeah? No, I was thinking Float On by Modest Mouse. That was one. That's just kind of generally bubbly and happy. New Radicals, that song. You know the one I'm talking about. It's like, Courtney Love and Marilyn Manson. Come around, run to your mansions. Come around, I'll kick your asses. Don't let go.
Now
You
I'm
got
tilted.
the music in you.
I'm not old, so I don't know.
What?
And now I know what you're talking about.
I think I've heard those lyrics before. I'm not
How
sure,
have you never heard of
but
You only get
Spoken
what
like a
you
man
give.
never at Applebee's.
oh, maybe.
What?
All right, so you listen to happy music,
Jesus
okay?
Christ. So listen to happy music and do something physical with it, right? So there is a ton of like research and things that show that like physically moving your body or exercising in a way can actually help relieve mental stress. And that is true to anybody who has ever like hit a punching bag, you will notice that it's stress relieving. Anybody who squeezes one of those fucking cushions, you will notice that exerting physical energy can help convert mental stress into, I don't know, like a soothing action, right? So happy music, dance around your living room, punch a pillow, do anything physical. It doesn't matter. Jumping jacks, I don't think that helps. I've tried that. And I'm just like, stupid motherfucking asshole. Like, dumbass ADC doesn't know what level 2 is. Fuck! And it totally doesn't work for me. I think it has to be something a bit more engaging, right? Or like rage releasing and physically tiring. But the other thing is like, man, throw on a timer. Give yourself like enough time for it to pass, vent, do something else to occupy your mind, and sit back and come down to it, right? I think that's a very good piece of like anti-tilt after a bad beat. Another one that I thought of that was like, like ways in which you can prevent this shit before it even happens is like, aside from just being like, I've vented, I've sat down, I've walked away, is don't play the game on a timer, like on a mental timer, right?
Yep.
So like this, like I have to hit plat tomorrow or this weekend or this month, or it's the end of season and I have to hit gold. Like if you've done that, you've put a whole bunch of tilt on top of you already, right? It's fine if it's just like a question mark, like futuristic goal, that can be motivating. But I mean, like if you're like, I have to win this weekend, right? Like this is my weekend to play League and I need to hit plat, you will fuck up a lot.
Which is why the end of the season is one of the most frustrating times to play, because everybody's got that mindset. Like that is the only time you're really on a timer, and that's a sad and sorry place to be.
Mm-hmm.
So the part where you said like exerting like physical energy, like doing something physical.
Yeah.
I kind of have. So for the last like month, like actually since the beginning of the season, I've actually feel like I've been on tilt. I've been like, for what I do, I slam my desk every single time. But I'm finding myself getting angry for the littlest things that I know I would never get angry about, like last season. Like, I don't know, like my enemy lane has been pushed up for the last like 5-6 minutes, and my jungler has not ganked, but he's ganked like bot lane 3 times. So I would start getting mad. I would start pinging more, and I would just slam my desk even if I die from a death. Right, and I feel that by accepting the fact that this is okay, just slamming my desk, that I'm allowing myself to get mad for the for the simplest things. I feel that I'm not expressing my mental stress from this game in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I was thinking about is after the game, doing it
after the game. Okay.
Yes. Like, you've got 45 seconds of your death timer to do 10 jumping jacks.
During the game, you're not going to be like, okay, I want to play League of Legends. Oh, God, I died. And then that be, like, healthy whenever you sit back down. You know what I mean? Like, that will never work. You've still got, like, I'm going to sit down and then I'm going to play. And I'm going to be hyper fucking tilted because I just like unleashed the beast of adrenaline rush on my chair or whatever, Like, no, I don't think that's helpful. I don't think that's helpful at all, But yeah, I mean, and like I said, I've also found that like a thing you can do is try to surround yourself with like generally positive people. Right? Like,
where do you find them?
Yeah, it's hard.
You know people?
So, like, for example,
I mean, I consider myself a positive guy. Like, I joke around. I'm pretty optimistic about everything. It's literally the game that I get pissed off about. Like, ask any of my friends. They do not think I'm a negative person whatsoever. So I think I'm doing everything. I think the game's just making me angry.
I'll tell you this. Whenever I talked to all those people before I got you on the podcast, they actually said,
"Oh yeah,
he's very positive." You know, that was
all the
a
people.
common theme amongst.
So it's not that one person that from like the beginning of the podcast that you said. There's all those people. Now there's more people.
All the people.
Oh.
Like whenever I did double
thorough background
friendship interview on the background check, they're like, "What are you thinking?" I was like, no, I got a good feeling about this. They're like, your feelings are fucked. Run now.
I want names. I'll give you $10 a name. I want to know who's ratting me out. I want to know what these people keep my name out their mouth.
That's
what my name off
the first person said. He'll give you $10 a name. I'll give you 20. Don't tell him. I was like, okay.
I mean, the way I look at it, one of the things that, like, when you have a really tilting game, and I just don't queue back up for ranked if I can remember it. You know what I mean? Like, if you've got a game and you're just so pissed off about it that you know who was on your team, you know why they fed. I mean, you start blaming other people when you're in that mind frame too.
If the words "that motherfucker" crosses your mind, you are still tilted.
If you can remember that game right off the top of your head, or if it's still on your mind at all, you are queuing up at a serious disadvantage.
But the thing is, I'm addicted. A lot of us are addicted to this
That's
game.
my segue. And see, this is one of the best things that helped me in climbing. There are other game modes. I want to brace yourself. There's like a normal game mode that doesn't affect your LP at all. There's flex. There's off rolls. And
so there's a safe and convenient way to chase the dragons. So you don't have to OD on rank.
Yeah, it's like heroin that doesn't have fentanyl in it. So it's it's not quite as good, but you don't end up dead, and you don't have to waste good Narconon because you can sell that for a good hit on the streets.
You don't do heroin off the street. You go to the Method 1 acting clinic.
Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, you've got to. I think if you're playing this game, where the only way you can experience this game and sort of get that dopamine hit or that mental hit that you're trying to get is by playing ranked and winning, you're in a bad spot. Like, and one of the best things I did was I took a 2-month break like last year, and I came back and I played norms. You know what I mean? And I found a way to play the game and enjoy it without needing that extra stuff. And now I've got 2 ways to play. I can play and just enjoy the game, and then I've got ranked, which is work. You know what I mean? I am focused. I don't have music playing. I am doing pre-game analysis and figuring out my win conditions during the loading screen. I'm doing all these things to set myself up for victory. And being able to
off before I queued up.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need to watch.
Gun.
No. I never,
you
am able to.
Something about Mary that shit.
Yeah. If you can still achieve an erection, you should take advantage of that in your youthful stage. But me and Blake, that ship is long sailed. It's long gone, man.
It went with my hair. I'm hoping to get it back with a hair transplant.
I did not know that was a side effect.
And the eyebrow transplant.
And I actually tried to just transplant my eyebrows directly into my hair with that.
That's what you were doing. That's what you were doing the whole time.
Yeah, it didn't stick. The tape, double-sided, it shows real bad.
But I mean, that sort of segues me into this cheesy fucking promo that I've been trying to work in anyway, is have a community. When you're pissed off and playing ranked and you still want to play the game, hop into a Discord, find some people and play a norm with them. That fresh memory of hate and bile and tilt will fade away, a lot faster when you can healthily express yourself in League, you know what I mean, in a fun way, and play an off roll, for God's sake.
I will say this too. I am a person that's not really all that affected by the negativity of my teammates, though after a while it will even dig into me, right? Because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of people that are gonna go, "What?" whenever I say this, but I'm generally optimistic about the outcome of the game.
What?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, I know. I knew that was coming. So, like, I will. Well, okay, so separate this for a second. Whenever I play with the community, I am in like coaching mode. I'm not in like I'm out to win because it's not ranked and it's not like I'm not in a diamond game. I'm in a silver game or a gold game or a plat game. And if I'm going to play down, then I want to help the people that I'm playing with climb. And I do that by saying, hey, you did this. You could have done this, and then we would have been better. All right. And that's often taken like this. You did this, you stupid piece of shit. Go to hell.
Stick a fork in an electrical socket.
Yeah, like so. And I mean, that's not really what I mean, but in the and I do a whole lot of like breath holding that comes off as anger breath. Like
Yeah.
I was hoping he would bring this up.
Yeah.
But it's really not. I just hold my breath during intense game moments, and then I exhale. Sometimes I do anger breath, though. That is true. Sometimes it actually is. Where I'm like,
But we'll never know.
I can't tell you how relieved I was the first time you like revealed that, because I'd played a few games with you and I fucked up and it was like, like Darth Vader doing some autoerotic asphyxiation, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna get kicked out of the community. And
like
it's like, oh no, he just holds his breath. It's like,
no,
cool.
like the team fight went so long, I passed out. Like, I'm into it. Yeah. But like shit, man. Like I don't know. I come off like it's weird because as a community figure, I can slant negative, though I'm really generally kind of like we can win. It's not a big deal. All we have to do is do this, and this thing, right? But it does tilt me when people like ask me to shot call and don't follow the shot calls. That does actually tilt me. But that being said, generally speaking, in like ranked and stuff, whenever I duo, I'm always like the guy that's going, yeah, it's cool, we can win this, we got this. It doesn't really matter that we're down 3 or 4 kills. We'll come back. It's fine, whatever. But like, and because of that, I can play with like Ponderous, who's very negative, like very, very, very negative. Very ridiculously negative. Like, as in, Satan is to evil as Ponderous Sea Lion is to negative in League.
Satan's just misunderstood, man.
Yeah.
Well, if that's true, then I need to.
Satan was an angel. Don't forget that. He was an angel before.
Because Ponderous Sea Lion is not misunderstood in his negativity towards League of Legends. So,
only Riot misunderstands him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Riot misunderstands his chat logs where he's like, I wish your parents had never met and thus never given birth to you, etc., etc., etc. Well,
Totally misunderstood figure.
okay, well, it was a jungle Draven, so
Oh
fuck
my
that guy.
god.
And, like, intentionally fed jungle Draven. So,
And who got disciplined?
Ponderous?
Of course.
Ban.
Thanks, Riot.
I got nothing on the Draven though, because he tried his hardest.
Yeah.
But regardless, yeah, like I said, there's like I can balance out on that. I can be with that dude and him be negative and it not really smash me, right? Astros, I can take like here's the difference is Ponderous will be negative, but he will still try to win. Astros will be negative and then he won't try to win.
Mm.
And if you're paired with somebody who the negativity takes over to the degree that they stop trying to win, don't duo with them.
Mm.
And, that's a problem. And, I think Astros is, and that's the thing, is like mental strength and mental fortitude is something in League of Legends that actually matters whether you will climb or not. which is weird because I have never said that in any other game. Like in Call of Duty, are you mentally like, are you there? You strong into brain? Well, then you can be a sniper. Nope. Those things don't add up, right? But in League, it legit matters. And like Astro is a perfect example. He's a very good laner. He knows macro pretty well. He knows when to be in and out of team fights. His cross to bear is that he's his own damn worst enemy in that one field. Is like he'll give up, just tilt and quit. And I don't know, like he would probably be much, much higher up the ladder if that wasn't an issue he had to deal with.
And I think it's important to mention that, like, you don't just wake up one day and change. If you're dealing with these problems and you're like, hey, this sounds like me, or I'm being negative, or I'm forfeiting, or I'm quitting. You don't just wake up one day and decide to stop doing that. These are skills that, just like mechanics or lane management, take your mental fortitude and your mental resilience is something that you have to practice with. And the more you can identify times when you're approaching the game from a mentally unhealthy standpoint, or you're letting these types of irrational behaviors dominate your play style, the more you can identify and fix them, the more they will become innate, just like any other skill. You've got to recognize that you've got a problem or an issue that's interfering with your ability to climb. Try to seek out instances where that's happening and try different techniques. And the more you try those different techniques and slant positive, slant away from tilt, the easier it's going to be to avoid them in the first place. And that's how you break those habits and prevent them long term. You're not going to be able to just say, okay, I listened to this podcast. All 10 people who listen to this podcast are going to wake up and say, they're going to
10 people.
This is it. This is it. This is the day I'm going to change my life, and I'm going to do all. It is a skill. Mental fortitude and resilience is a skill, just like landing skill shots, just like last hitting. It's just not as apparent, and there's no drill for it. And a lot of people, quite frankly, don't. The problem with it is that it is emotionally rewarding. Your brain will trick you into blaming others and to have that righteous indignation, because anger can trigger those same releases that a victory can. So it's even harder to deal with, and that's one of the reasons why it's tricky. But you see a common theme amongst people, and some people can overcome mental negativity and tilt by just having incredible amounts of skill. But look at a guy like Sneaky. I mean, that's I think it's probably one of the best examples of like mental. He's just like nothing phases him on streams. Like he dies, he's like what, and then he just goes right back to playing. You know what I mean? The pros and the greats at this game don't really let that stuff harp on them. They just move on to the next one.
Yeah, and I will
to add to that, there was actually a post. It was like a guy who played with Afro, and he was like, he made a big mistake. It was like his first time playing with Afro, and like he made a big mistake in laning phase.
Was his mistake playing with Afro?
No. and he felt so bad. He like types in like chats like, Afro, I'm so sorry. Like I fucked that up. And he's like, it doesn't matter. It's just time for the next move. And that's just the way you got to look at things. I mean, you got to have that mental fortitude. I think to get started, it's like, if you find yourself like having a really negative experience with this game, and you just don't seem to find the fun very frequently, like maybe just backtrack and like ask yourself like, what makes this game fun for you? What are the moments that you actually enjoy that makes you enjoy this game, right? And then just slowly work towards that.
So like one thing I will say is it is a skill, and I mean that's true. Like building this is a skill. It's a very real thing. And there's like Minor Threats is in the chat, and he's acknowledged exactly what I was going to say, and that is fake it till you make it is actually something that works on positivity. Like studies have shown that if you force yourself to smile, even when you don't feel like smiling, it actually causes a change in your mental state. And it's really fucking stupid that you're just like, Harley Quinn the shit out of it until you like get there, I guess. But like it actually causes, like, those physical triggers can actually cause your mood to lift, right? The other thing that I was going to say is it is a skill just like blackjack or craps, which you can play at our host and sponsor, the Buffalo Ridge Casino. So, so that being said, we're good. I think we've covered it pretty well. I think that if you have issues with tilt and stuff like that, cool. Help us, hit us up. We'll try to help you out, give you some tips, talk about things that you can improve. The other thing that is the clear and obvious piece of advice is mute all.
I was just about to say that. Thank God.
You just mute everybody. And I'll tell you this. I was playing, and I'm as guilty as anybody else. I don't mute because I'm like, I want to see what this motherfucker says. And it's like, I'm just opening the door for more negativity.
Wish a motherfucker would tilt me.
You say something, bitch. I just want to see what you say, you stupid bastard. But wait a minute. Are you trying to gratify those feelings? Is that the number one thing? Or are you trying to win this fucking game? Because if you're trying to win the game, you don't feed the troll. By being like, hey, dumb piece of shit, you actually suck dicks. Not going to get you any closer to winning the game. It'll make you feel better, but you shouldn't be out to feel better. You should be out to win league. Right? So mute that stupid son of a bitch. How many times have you been in a verbal argument, when you were a kid at school or something? How fucking gratifying would it have been to have just taken a piece of duct tape and slap it over somebody's mouth, mid-argument? To have the power to do that. And just be like, and now you can't speak, stupid bitch.
Prosecutor.
There you go. And then ship done. And you can do that on League. It's the mute button. You have the ability to slap duct tape on somebody's mouth. And if you're ever thinking about it, or eyebrow, or both their eyebrows, or just cut their eyebrows with a way too short guard. It's a great practical joke that makes their wife think that they look stupid. Or
husband, equal opportunity at the Buffalo
Husbands
Casino.
Won't notice.
Same-sex couples welcome at the Buffalo Ranch Casino.
Yeah, the Buffalo
equal
Ranch
opportunity.
Oh man, so.
The going along that, I mean, as far as using chat or muting people, one of the other things that I found to be really helpful at preempting other people from tilting is when I fuck up, and I know I have fucked up, I type in chat. I type in chat, MB, my bad. If you
admit a few words,
mistakes, it does so much to, number one, prevent people from saying, oh, you fucked up right there. What the fuck are you thinking? You say, hey man, my bad, made a mistake. I'll try not to make another one, and you just go right back to playing, and that can just douse a fire before it ever gets to engulf your entire team in problems. And people make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I played a game earlier and I fucking missed a smite, and the Zed stole the Baron. We still won the game. I said, hey, I'm sorry, I missed the smite. It was a mistake.
You're like AMB missed Baron.
AMB.
That was you, and you suck.
I pinged you 15 times to zone him away from the pit. But you didn't do that, but you want to call me out for missing smite. But I did not say that in chat. Instead, I said, I apologize. I was 11-0-2 and carrying the entire team at that point, too. So I'm like, I'm sorry I can't carry. I'm thinking, I'm sorry I'm not carrying you hard enough. My apologies. Instead,
MB,
just
mute bitches.
Or you say SRY. Sorry.
Yep. Made a mistake. That's all it takes, man. If you just say, hey, made a mistake, and people say, oh, I guess I make mistakes too. And if you get a toxic guy, you just mute him at the first sign of negativity if you haven't muted at all.
Just write the guy, you make a mistake and write, hey, I still poop my pants as an adult. Just type that into chat.
Wait, we're not supposed to do that anymore?
Hard to hate that guy is all I'm saying. You're like, you do? Oh my God. You got bigger problems than that mistake you just made. Let's try to win one for you, Chief. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a perfect metaphor for the difference between StarCraft and League. Like in StarCraft, if you shit your pants, you can just change. You can take a shower and change your pants. You shit your pants in League, you have to sit in it for 25 fucking minutes because some asshole won't vote to let you change your pants.
Yeah, no shit. So, okay, with that, I think we'll round it out. We didn't get around to the nerf and ban and whatever discussion that I wanted to talk about, but that's fine. We didn't have time left. So, anyway, Oh shit! What was I gonna say? Oh yeah,
Announcements.
Thank you, Patreon guys. We bought another nice mic for the podcast and sent that out. So Zill got a mic upgrade, and Danger Penguin got a hand-me-down mic upgrade. So that's good. Really appreciate that. Trickle-down economics do work.
What?
Nothing.
Not touching politics.
No, it was a joke. Anyway,
trickle down microphones.
Trickle down microphones.
In a microphone-based economy that is built entirely off of Patreon donations, this economic model has shown sustainability.
Yeah, it totally works. See, tax breaks. So yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. We've been trying to upgrade audio quality and stuff. We've got away from Zencaster because it just doesn't work. So, we're trying to cut some expenses on that end so we can bring you guys some cooler shit. I still don't think we have a sustainable enough amount of money to, do video stuff. Because I feel bad, we've gotten people that have shown up and be like, I'll do your video stuff. And then I'm like, yeah, but, one video takes, a long time. And you should make something for that's more than I can actually afford to pay you. And I'm not going to spend our entire budget on a video because we don't make money off of that.
Keep donating. Increase that budget.
Well, I mean, if that's something that you want, sure. I'm more out to give people what they want. A lot of people were talking about they wanted better audio quality of they want to hear every bump and can click and shit that gets open. And I was like, well, I'll just buy Yeti mics. So... we did.
And remember, every $1,000 that you gamble at the Buffalo Run Casino, we get 50 cents at the League of Legends podcast.
Okay, so I got a story real quick.
Oh God, this is not quick.
And it's actually about the Buffalo Run Casino because that's a real casino. And it's about
our sponsors for the show.
It's about an hour that way. So
which way?
That way. I go and actually, let's see. It's in.
For our podcast listeners who don't have video, Blake's just pointing randomly.
Yeah, this direction, an hour that direction.
It's over there, an hour.
Generally that way. So, anyway, I go and I argue for this guy. He's, I say he's fallen on hard times for years. And, he needs his child support lowered. And I'm like, yeah, cool, no worries. We'll get your child support lowered. It should be blah, 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 blah. So we go to court and we get it all argued up. And this is some time ago, so we're well past that anybody can do anything about it. So, we get it lowered down. And I check Facebook that evening. And it's going with my wife to the casino at Buffalo Run, woo! And I'm like, what the fuck? You just got your child support lowered today. Why would you put on the internet that you're going to the casino? If I were your ex, I would send this to attorney and be like, if this motherfucker has Buffalo Run money, then he can pay his fucking child support.
No, he's saving money getting that free drinks. The free drinks at the Buffalo Run. Every gambling virgin.
Goes well with continental breakfast.
Don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive. Safe driving.
Buzz driving is drunk driving.
So anyway, I literally my jaw hit the floor, and I was like, it's times like this where you're like, yeah, all the hard work I do is totally worth it. So this guy can take his lady out to the Buffalo Run. Anyway.
It's like the guy who gets put on supervised probation asks the judge, does that mean I can't smoke weed every day?
Not every day.
Once every couple of weeks, tops.
Do not get caught. Good luck. I'll see you next week when you're violated. So, anyway.
Ooh, that sounded dark.
Well, no, it just, welcome to Berry County, my man. Jesus. We had a guy round trip because he went outside and sold drugs in the parking lot of the courthouse after getting off probation, and they busted him and walked him right back upstairs.
Hell no way. No way.
Legit happened at one point. Yeah. They busted him in the parking lot with drugs, and then they're like, well, now you're going to go to the Department of Corrections.
Mm. Did he pass go and collect his $200?
He did not.
He didn't? Shit.
Yeah, no, he passed.
Life imitates art.
Yeah, he passed the gates of Fulton Penitentiary and did not collect shit, but maybe a beating.
Mm.
So, anywho, well, good
On that
podcast,
note,
fellas. On that note,
speaking
we'll
of
wrap it up.
positivity,
Do we have announcements or anything? You mentioned announcements like you'd thought of one or knew one.
well, no, just standing announcements that we've got
right.
community games.
Community games. We're trying to actually bring those back to something that happens all the time. Maybe balance them a little bit better. Get the shoutcasting going again. Try to make it a more enjoyable experience for everybody involved. And Doubles jumped in on some of that. Zill's doing some of that. I am still absent on that, but who knows? Maybe if it gets to be a thing, I'll step back into the ring too. Who knows?
Yeah, we had it last night, and I've been playing community games pretty regularly for the past couple of months. And last night we had 2 really good games. They were back and forth. Balance was good, and we shoutcasted them, which seems to be something that people really want from a learning standpoint and an entertainment standpoint. If you want to play a game and have sort of a professional feel, most amateur shoutcast, then come in and check it out. You can watch your game and see somebody else talking about it. Maybe you get some pointers, and it's just a different way to watch a replay, which we encourage. So,
LCS level shoutcasting.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
100%.
I'm just waiting on my check.
And I think what's the other thing? I think Zill or Astros wrote that they're currently considering dates for the next tournament, this LOLA community tournament. So
ladies, if you want to date those guys, step up.
Make it happen. But community games are 8 p.m. CST.
8 p.m. CST.
10 minutes beforehand. We have a room called The Hall in Discord. Join the Discord server, and that will open up, and usually it's the first 10 people in the hall. I talked to some folks who missed the cut last time, and if you show up on one Wednesday and you didn't get into a community game and you come the next weekend, let somebody know that you were here last time and didn't make the cut, and we'll try to make some arrangements for you and balance out participation that way. So, and if you are a high-level player at this point, we are trying to ask you to one of the reasons we've had some issues with community games is we've got 1 or 2 really, really high-level players, and they just take over the whole game, and it doesn't become as much fun for other people. So we're trying to police that. Hopefully we don't have to police that, and people can sort of regulate themselves on that.
If you are high-level, that's whatever. You can get in. It's usually not a problem. But don't stack the teams. Classic don't be an asshole rules apply.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think to yourself, if I did this, would I be considered an asshole? Then if the answer is yes, don't do that.
And the way to get in that is through the Discord, and the Discord link is on the website, which is lolapodcast.com. Go there, you can join the Discord server, and come on down. Okay. We'd love to have you.
A big thank you to our sponsors today.
Who was it? The Society for League Positivity.
Right.
Society for Positive Gamblers.
Positive
Gamblers,
including.
Oh, their check bounced. They're lucky they got an honorable mention. Tops.
And the honorable. What's the last one?
The Buffalo Run Casino.
Oh yeah. Prime Rib Night. Prime Rib Night every second Tuesday of the month.
My God, this place is popping. They got deals for everything.
This is gonna have legs. The Buffalo Run thing. This gag can go on.
Therapy at the Buffalo Run Casino.
Don't do that. It is. You get what you pay for at the Buffalo Run Speech Therapy Clinic and Positivity for League Gambling Association.
It's all in one house. All of these sponsors are actually in the Buffalo Run Casino.
Mm-hmm. And you can get your child support adjusted. So.
You get your child support adjusted while you're there. They're like, hey, you've got disposable income. Might as well get your child support lowered so you can continue gambling at the Buffalo Run Casino. Bring your significant other.
Wholesome Christian providers of family entertainment at Buffalo Run. Great people. Great people.
They accept paychecks from everyone.
Mm.
Yeah, equal opportunity paycheck acceptance. All right. With that, we'll shut it down for the night. And say good night, everybody!